I saw the red mist in William. He wanted me to hit him back, but I chose not to. Prince Harry tells more about the fight between him and his brother in new ITV trailer, and says his mother Princess Diana would be sad about their broken relationship. Human hand grenade. Prince Harry was today accused of trying to blow up his father's reign with his new book as his verbal attacks on his brother also continued. The Duke of Sussex describes William's red mist in a fight over Meghan Markle before admitting that he took cannabis, magic mushrooms and cocaine in another new clip from his ITV interview out on Sunday. The Duke of Sussex also insisted to British anchor Tom Bradby that he wants reconciliation with his relatives, even though his new memoirs have damaged Charles III and plunged the royal family into its worst crisis since the death of his mother in 1997. And in a separate teaser released by Good Morning America last night, he admits the rift with William would make their late mother sad. Former Vanity Fair editor Tina Brown, a biographer of Princess Diana, said today, "Harry's turned into a human hand grenade. It's raining down on the House of Windsor just at the start of his father's reign." Harry has alleged that there was a fight between him and the Prince of Wales after he called Meghan Markle difficult, rude and abrasive. Harry's book also reveals that William warned him against proposing. Harry claims the stand-up row in Nottingham Cottage, his Kensington Palace flat, ended with William grabbing him by the collar and throwing him to the floor, shattering a dog bowl. His back was scraped and bruised, he claims. In a newly released clip from ITV's forthcoming interview with Harry, the Duke said his brother was so frustrated during the incident, which reportedly took place in 2019, he saw red mist in him. He wanted me to hit him back, but I chose not to, he says of his brother. In the clip released early on Friday morning, Harry tells his friend Tom Bradby, "What was different here was the level of frustration, and I talk about the red mist that I had for so many years, and I saw this red mist in him." The short clip from the ITV interview, which is due to be aired on Sunday, also had Harry addressing the drug use detailed in Spare. Mr. Bradby tells the Duke, "There's a fair amount of drugs in the book. Marijuana, magic mushrooms, cocaine. I mean, that's going to surprise people." The Duke appears to agree and says it was important to acknowledge. The royal also states he wants to reconcile with his family, something which he says cannot happen without some accountability. "I want reconciliation," he says, "but first, there needs to be some accountability." The Duke also states, "The truth, supposedly, at the moment, has been there's only one side of the story, right? But there's two sides to every story." It comes after Harry reportedly alleged in his book William had called his American wife Meghan difficult, rude and abrasive, comments which the younger brother said parroted the press narrative about his wife. Other rows have also emerged. Prince William tore into Meghan Markle after he insulted his wife during a meeting meant to relax the atmosphere between them after the Sussexes returned from their African honeymoon. The Prince and Princess of Wales invited Harry and Meghan to their flat at Kensington Palace after a series of rows, including one where Kate Middleton was reportedly reduced to tears during a bridesmaid dress fitting for Charlotte. But the chat over tea and biscuits in June 2018, weeks after the Sussexes' Windsor wedding, descended into another conflict because the Duchess of Sussex told Kate that she must have baby brain because of her hormones, according to Harry's new bombshell memoirs. William then called Meghan rude to her face and pointed a finger at her and explained, "These things are not done here." In an excerpt, which lays bare the rift between the Sussexes and the Wales, Meghan then told William, "If you don't mind, keep your finger out of my face." Defending his wife, Harry writes in his new book, Meg said that she had never intentionally done anything to offend Kate and that if she had, she begged her to let her know so she could avoid a reoccurrence. Details of the alleged row have appeared in Harry's bombshell memoir Spare, which has been published in Spain. Harry lays out in extraordinary detail the meeting with William and Kate in June 2018 when an attempt to mend the growing rift between the Sussexes and the Waleses. But both couples would end up sharing more gripes rather than patch things up. He describes arriving at their Kensington Palace flat and said that Meghan's mouth was open because of the decor, priceless art on the walls, books and furniture, saying, "Wow," repeatedly. Harry said that they had been thinking to themselves that their neighbouring flat had IKEA lamps and furniture, we'd recently bought on sale with Meg's credit card on sofa.com. They then sat down for a cup of tea and some biscuits where they asked after the Waleses' children, and they in turn they had asked about the Sussexes' honeymoon. But after that Meghan decided to raise the question of their relationship and tensions going back to when she started dating Harry, suggesting there had been crossed wires when Kate thought Meghan wanted to use her connections in the fashion industry, when in fact she already had her own. Meghan suggested that these problems had been magnified by the wedding preparations and the discussions over bridesmaids' dresses. Harry then claims that Kate became upset and demanded an apology from Meghan for offending her when she mentioned her hormones after giving birth and suggesting it had affected her memory. Meghan initially said she couldn't remember but then added, "I remember, you had forgotten something and I said that it didn't matter, that it was because of pregnancy. Because you just had a child. Because of the hormones." Harry said Kate then said back, "We are not close enough for you to talk about my hormones." Meghan then said she spoke to all her friends that way and then William weighed in, pointing at Meghan and saying it was rude and she was wrong to say it. Meghan then told him to stop pointing in her face. The Duchess of Sussex is then said to have declared that she had not wanted to offend Kate. "They all hugged and left," Harry said, because they thought it best to head home rather than row further. The Guardian, which first reported the dispute, said it was able to obtain a copy of the book, due to be published on January 10, despite strong security measures around its release. In an earlier released teaser of the ITV interview, Harry says he is publishing his memoirs because he does not know how staying silent is ever going to make things better. The full ITV interview is due to be broadcast 2 days before publication and, in a trailer, Mr. Bradby asks, "Wouldn't your brother say to you, 'Harry, how could you do this to me after everything? After everything we went through? Wouldn't that be what he would say?' Harry replied, "He would probably say all sorts of different things." Mr. Bradby, a former royal correspondent and current presenter of ITV News at 10, is a friend of the Sussexes and has previously interviewed them for a documentary about their 2019 Africa tour. He told Harry, "Some people will say you've railed against invasions of your privacy all your life, but the accusation will be, here are you invading the privacy of your most nearest and dearest without permission. That will be the accusation." Harry answered, "That will be the accusation from people that don't understand or don't want to believe that my family have been briefing the press." Asked if he will attend his father's coronation later this year, he said, "There's a lot that can happen between now and then, but the door is always open, the ball is in their court. There is a lot to be discussed and I really hope they are willing to sit down and talk about it." Harry said he still believes in the monarchy, but when asked if he believes he will play a part in its future, he said, "I don't know." The show, called Harry, The Interview, will be broadcast on ITV1 and ITX at 9 p.m. on January 8.